So I don't know where I'm going, but I think I found us a somewhat empty road so that we can actually get a little bit of driving in with the Forte. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be going over a 2022 Kia Forte GT with a manual transmission. First and foremost though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Jerry Signer Kia here in South Salt Lake for giving me some time with this Forte GT. Check out the inventory in the description down below, and then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below as well. Let's get into the video. So under the hood, we have a turbocharged 1.6 liter 4-cylinder that goes through a 6-speed manual transmission. Fuel economy is 22 around town and then 31 on the highway, with power outputs being 201 horsepower and then 195 pound-feet of torque. And I love how it says turbo with the carbon fiber. Now let's go over the front end of the Forte GT. So from a hood perspective, it is unchanged compared to a regular Forte, but you guys can see this beautiful white metallic paint. Looks fantastic in the sun. You've got the new Kia logo, and then look at the lights. So we've got the LED accent lights. They don't blink in real life. That's just because of the frame rate of the camera. And then you can see the reflector lights for the headlights themselves. Definitely a cool aesthetic. Got your not so subtle GT badge there on the grille, and then you can see here with the accenting in the grille from a color perspective. Let me get a little bit closer so you guys can see it better. Definitely looks really cool. Pops against the white paint on this particular car. And then down below with more red accenting, and then you can see the blacked out accenting here off to the side. And I mean, overall for a Forte, this thing looks pretty cool. Now coming on the side here, we've got two 25mm tires wrapped on 18-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear as well. And then if we go over the design and color on the wheels themselves, let's get a little bit closer. You can see the silver here on the top, and you've got dark metallic gray below that. And then notice the red accenting around the Kia logo there in the center. And going from that, you can see the bodywork here off the side. Notice black trim on the bottom portion to kind of break things up a little bit. And then same thing with the mirror caps are also blacked out. And here is your full side view. So you guys can see it's not super large. So here is the key fob. We got the Kia logo here, and then notice we've got the lock, the unlock, and then the opening here for the trunk. No remote start because again it's a manual transmission, but notice that it actually pops open all the way. So popping here into the rear, we've got our Forte floor mats, right? And then if we lift this up, you can see we've got the spare tire underneath there. Storage space is actually pretty good for being such a small little sedan. And I said small and little. Anyways, as you can pull these to throw down the seats, and other than that, now let's finish things up here with the rear. So you guys will notice that we've got the black spoiler here at the top, and then we've got the new Forte tail lights here. Got our GT badge and then the new Kia logo there in the center. And then you can see here with the parking sensors all along the rear, and then look at the accenting with the lights down below. I think that's a cool aesthetic, and I love how the exhaust coverings look. Definitely a cool aesthetic again with the red, and then the diffuser that's blacked out. Really good looking, and there's the rear. Now here's the door panel in the back. You guys can see here with the padding, then red stitching as well, another nice touch. And then here are the seats themselves, the same thing with the padding, then the red stitching, and then notice here perforated in the center portion. And pop in quickly, legroom, headroom, definitely nice. We've got some vents here for the rear passengers, got a little USB down below, and we have our armrest cup holder situation. If I can dig it out with my fingers, there you go. And let's head to the front. Now here's the door panel at the front. Same thing here with the padding and then the red stitching that goes across. All of our window controls here with the mirror adjustments. The mirrors do have blind spot monitoring. And then here are the front seats, which I am a huge fan of. So again, red with the stitching. We've got the GT logo also finished in red. We've got the piping here on the side with the stitching, and then those perforated here in the center and then down below. And then your adjustments down the side of the seat. Got the 3-pedal layout, and look how nice the pedals look. Even the dead pedal's nice. Just for the blind spot monitoring, stability control, it's kind of the main stuff. Steering wheel is manually adjustable, and let's pop in. Now here is the steering wheel, which I love the design on it. So notice it's smoother here at the top and at the bottom. Perforated here on the side so you get a better grip with the red contrasted stitching. And yeah, just really nice looking steering wheel. We've got the pages button control here, steering assistance, cruise control, voice command controls here on the other side. And the floor mats make a funny sound when my shoes go across it. Anyways, you got the turn signal light stock, windshield wiper stock, and there you go. Here's the center gauge cluster. Notice that we've got analog gauges for the RPMs and for the speed. RPMs are very important because, again, this is a manual transmission car. We do have a sport mode that you can go into. So we've got normal and sport, that's it, which I'm a huge fan of. You're either driving normally or you're driving in sport mode. Keep it simple. Now here is the center infotainment system. First off, I'm going to pop it into reverse. I'll show you guys how to get into the reverse lockout a little bit later. But trajectory lines do turn with the steering wheel. Resolution on the camera is pretty good. Sorry about the lighting with that. Definitely dim, so look at that. Now it's brighter. Anyways, moving on to the rest of the infotainment system. First off, notice with the buttons, response time solid. And then notice they've got these shortcut buttons here down below. So that makes using the infotainment system relatively easy. And we've got a camera button that you can press to turn that on and off. But yeah, overall, response time's great. It's easy to use. And, you know, we've seen the screen before, so there you go. Got our hazard light button here, and then down below, we actually have dual zone climate here in this car, which is pretty crazy because it's not very large. And then we do have a wireless phone charger. We've got our charging area down below with the USBs. And then notice we've got heated seats for the front, which I don't know why mine is on, but definitely a nice feature. And then here is the shifter for the 6-speed manual. So first off, reverse lockout is you got this button that you press and then put it all the way over, and that's reverse. As for the rest of the gear shifts, pretty notchy. I'll talk about it more when we actually drive it, but you know, so far, so good. Got the camera button right there. We've got our parking brake, a couple cup holders, and then you can see the center console. And notice this trim that goes across the dash. You can see the glove box, pretty normal. And then, guess what? We have a sunroof. Here at the top, got the control for the sunroof, and then all black headliner. So here's our window sticker for this Kia Forte GT. I love how they don't list the horsepower, but they say sport-tuned suspension. Anyways, you can see everything that comes standard here with the car. And then notice it says compare GT, so you can see everything that comes with the package. And then additional equipment here, so the paint color, basically, that's it. $25,810, which, yeah, super inexpensive. Let's take this out and see how it drives. Let's talk about visibility before we set off. So you can see visibility over the hood. Both the mirrors do have blind spot monitoring. Then throughout the rest of the rear. And clutch in, brake down, first gear. Let's set off. Setting off here in the Forte GT with the manual. So the Kia dealership is awesome here because they have two of these Forte GTs. One's the automatic and one is the manual, which we're driving. And they're like, which one do you want to drive? And it's like, manual, of course, right? Because so many cars are automatics nowadays. And so driving the manual is the route to go. Plus, I think that this is technically comparable to the Civic Si, and when I drove the Civic Si, that one had a manual as well. I don't think you can get the Civic Si in an automatic. So I figured that, again, driving this, I'll be able to tell you guys, you know, I guess which car is cooler, in a sense. First off, transmission's great. Really notchy. It's easy to get it into gear, and this would be a great car to learn how to drive manual transmission on if you don't know how to drive manual transmission already. So that's definitely a big plus. We are not going to do that whole train situation, so I'll be back with you guys in a second. Oh, getting up again. Definitely feels good from a power band perspective as well. It's not like full throttle or anything like that. Definitely solid. I'm interested to see if I pop it into the sport mode, kind of how that changes things, or if it feels the same. So I guess I have traded someone sitting on the train tracks and stopping a train, which would have made us not be able to drive anywhere, for lots of traffic and being stuck at a traffic light. Man, can't win today. So we are able to get up and move again, and that is a Crosstrek with a tire on the back. Pretty cool setup. So I'm in the sport mode now, and I can tell you, going over this very beat up road, suspension actually does a pretty good job of soaking everything up, which is definitely a plus. This person's going into my lane. People are crazy down here. Use your turn signal if you want to change lanes, people. But anyways, let's see how the rev match downshifting is. Now this doesn't have auto blip or anything like that. It's got to do it yourself, the old school way. Yeah, actually really solid with that, with the downshifting. It's pretty quick, pretty seamless. And I have a feeling that I am just going to continually run into different ugly traffic situations in today's video. So I don't know where I'm going, but I think I found us a somewhat empty road so that we can actually get a little bit of driving in with the Forte GT. Definitely feels turbocharged. Definitely feels turbocharged. Definitely has that like little bit of lag, and then it hits. Actually, now I'm completely lost, people. And we got to find ourselves back to civilization. Definitely worth it though. Definitely better than sitting in those traffic lines and not being able to drive. So I guess sorry about this like cut up driving thing. Just craziness happening here in downtown Salt Lake. And you know what? Did the best that I could possibly manage. So first off, exterior wise, I think this is a great looking car. From an interior perspective, I love it. I love the setup. It's really cool, and great ground clearance. As you guys can see here, having to go down that big dip. No scraping or anything. And then from a driving perspective, it's actually pretty fun. It feels super similar to the Civic in terms of like, yeah, just the overall experience with the manual transmission and all that. I like this, and it's super affordable. The Civic Si, I think, is like close to like the $30,000 range, where you know, this being $25,000. It's kind of like a performance bargain for this segment. So what I was saying is, if you want like a fun little performance sedan, the Forte GT can actually give that to you at a very reasonable price. So yeah, check one out. And I think they're still stuck at the train tracks, poor people. That's gonna sum things up for our video on this 2022 Kia Forte GT. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Jerry Steiner Kia here in South Salt Lake for giving me some time with the Forte. Check out the M in the description down below. I'll see all of you in the next video.